Good morning. Today is October 25th of 2024. So for economics today, we don't really have too much besides the University of Michigan sentiment at 10 o'clock. Today we also had durable goods at 8:30, which came in better than expected. So expected was negative 1%. We came in at negative 0.8%, so it's a little bit better than expected there. But I'm just going to be doing a little bit of charting on NASDAQ and S&P this morning because I wasn't able to last night. And then we can kind of go from there. Give you my pre-market analysis today. So again, it is Friday of the 25th. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So first I want to look at the dollar. So on the monthly time frame, we ended up hitting our monthly magnitude that I mentioned in the past two live streams. I mentioned that first we would get up to this daily target here, okay, and then next we would be reaching for our monthly magnitude. So if the monthly time frame or just the dollar in itself wants to start turning around here, okay, that could lead higher for equities, especially going into our elections next month. But again, downside for the dollar means upside for equities. It's just lately they haven't really been following each other like that. It's kind of been opposite. So since the dollar is pushing up, same with equities. We kind of want to see the opposite happen. But that's pretty much the case so far. So higher on the dollar, higher on equities, but it should be opposite. So if the dollar does start turning around here and equities does start pushing back to the upside, then that would be good for that correlation in specific. But if it doesn't, then that's okay. We're just going to have to continue to respect it. But that's pretty much all I really have on the dollar, is us to start turning around. If we do start seeing higher, then I would expect this high to get taken out right here on the monthly time frame. Okay, and then possibly these equal highs that were left up here. From long ago, honestly, I think that, yeah, this was back in May and April, we left relative equal highs up here. So I think that would be our draw of liquidity if we do start breaking above this monthly magnitude right here. But we can go down to NASDAQ first. Actually, we'll do S&P first. S&P still higher highs on the monthly time frame. Okay, so we're trading at all-time highs. Can't really be going against this trend in specific. But let's go down to our weekly. Okay, so our weekly put lower lows and lower highs here on the week, but we are starting to get a bottom wick and closing within this range here. Okay, so if next week does still want to continue to see higher and getting above this current week's high, then we would be good to start trending higher. But if we start to break below next week's or this current week's low next week, then I would say equities could have a chance to start dropping off a little bit, possibly taking out these relative equal lows here on the weekly time frame. If we go down to a daily time frame, we were stuck inside. It looks like we just broke above it. So this is obviously a reversal back to the upside. Okay, so you have your big candle right here, then you get stuck inside, and now we should start trading a bit higher here. Okay. Yeah, just a lot of continuation so far on the 1 hour here on S&P 500, but we do have a slight RTH gap. So if we look at the price, 871, we go to regular trading hours, 855. So from 855 to 871, it's about 18 points. Yeah, so 16 to 18 points is our RTH gap right now. That's on S&P. And then NASDAQ, I do believe it's roughly around like 80 points, our RTH gap currently. So 484, 405, yeah. So roughly about 80 points on NASDAQ for the RTH gap, but we'll get there in a second. So still higher highs, higher lows here on the daily. Besides the whole RTH gap, I would still expect upside and then taking out this high right here. Okay, so TGIF, right? Thank God it's Friday. could expect us to expand all the way up to here. But if we do start to turn around and then the daily does flip red at any point, I would just be cautious of a possible 3. So an outside bar right here. So we take out the high and then we take out the low right there. So that's something that I would definitely be aware of just because we still have the RTH gap there. But as of right now, I would still expect upside unless it kind of reverses at open. But it's pretty much it for S&P. Not too much. So yeah, if we get all the way down to our daily open right here, this level here, okay, then I would expect a lot lower, taking out Asia lows and possibly even yesterday's low right there. Stack here. So still looking at the month, you can see higher highs, higher lows. So not really looking for downside as of yet on the monthly. Weekly, same thing as S&P. So we had lower lows and lower highs on the current week, but starting to see a massive wick back into the green. Okay, so if we end this week off in the green, I would expect next week to possibly take out this week's high, okay, leading us to higher prices. But if it closes red, then there is a chance that we take out this current week's low, leading us to more downside. Okay, especially if the dollar can start to seek higher for those higher monthly magnitudes. This could definitely be the case for equities, especially leading into elections. I know elections get a little bit hectic, so that's something we just need to pay attention to. But again, next week is going to be very important to see if we break above this high or that low. Next week is a partial week, so we have November 1st on the Friday, right? So we finish the week off with October. We start the new month on Friday. This is going to be interesting because on Friday we have NFP. It's the first Friday of the month, obviously, right? So next week's going to be very volatile with GDP on Wednesday. We have PCE on Thursday, and then we have NFP on Friday. I believe we have consumer sentiment on Tuesday as well. So next week's going to be very volatile with all those economics. All right, so it could definitely lead us to take out the high or the low of this current week, which should give us true direction to the upside or downside. Same thing as S&P 500 with this inside day. We're just a little bit closer to the magnitude. So the target that I'm reaching for is all the way up to this high right here. Okay, because we were stuck inside. Now we're starting to see higher highs and higher lows above this one. All right, so as soon as we break above this high, we would expect this draw to get hit. You can see it's coming into the high already. So it's a little bit better than S&P. We're kind of a little bit away from the target, but still higher highs, higher lows on S&P, higher highs, higher lows on NASDAQ. So draw is definitely higher. Only thing, again, that we just have to be concerned about is the RTH gap at open. Okay, because the RTH gap, now it's looking at 90 points because we're at 492. Okay, and this was at 3, I think it was at, what was RTH gap again? It's 405. Okay, yeah. So 20,405 and then F. So roughly sitting at 90 points for the RTH gap right now. Right. That's one thing I'll just have to be aware of if it wants to come all the way back down here. So at 405-ish. And if it does, it could possibly flip the day red and bring us much lower. But as of right now, I would expect this to be a draw of liquidity because again, I believe this was, yeah, it was Wednesday's trading session. It's Wednesday's trading session. Very glad I didn't trade this day, but it looks like we're going to want to come up and fill in the RTH gap from Wednesday's trading session. So if that happens, then we will definitely hit our daily magnitude up there. Right. Still seeing significant upside in the pre-market session. So that's probably the move that you would want to be taking is in the pre-market, right? To just favor these daily magnitudes. Okay. So the moment, obviously, we break the high previous day. So this is our previous day. We can mark it yellow. That's our daily level. down to that really. Yeah. So you can see the moment we break above this high, we kind of consolidate around it, and then boom, we put in this outside candle and immediately see higher. Right, so outside candle, then you get higher highs and higher lows, right, straight to the upside. So this is good displacement, good continuation of this move right here. Okay, that happened at 7 o'clock. Yeah, you can get the entry in at this 8 o'clock candle. So the moment it takes out this high, you would expect higher. All the way up to this daily magnitude up here. So that's pretty good. Yeah, so we still have the RTH gap from Wednesday's trading session that we're looking to fill. Okay, we're not too far away from it, about 10 points. So this should fill. And if this fills, we should end up taking out that daily magnitude up there. It's pretty good, pretty good. So some lows of yesterday. It's been a crazy week so far. So we came all the way down, had a low resistance liquidity run on Wednesday. Yeah. So Wednesday we had a very, very good continuation lower. Okay. Came, took out last week's low, reversed higher, came all the way back up. Got a CRT signal right here. Okay, so we put our CRT indicator, calling out peak bottom right there. Okay. All the way up. Now we're going to be taking out basically these highs again. I would say so. So again, RTH gap in the morning, but still expecting higher. But if we do reverse and end up taking out this high again, so we come all the way down, right? Start getting closes back within this range. I would expect lower, but it's kind of a ways away right now. So draw liquidity is still higher here. So not bad. TH there. So it looks like all time frames are aligning here. Our weekly is flipping from red to green. So if we can displace higher, right, all time frames are aligning. Okay, so we would expect higher prices there. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. This 8 o'clock move isn't too bad here. Stuck inside, push higher, right around 7:30. Okay, and then immediately take out the high of day again and see a lot higher. So that's good. Should just change this color. I'll just mark out the RTH, but I don't think I'll be playing this today. Just because draw is still higher. It's gonna be something that we come and fill up next week. But if it does reverse, this is a very good move. So I come fill in the RTH gap from Wednesday and come take out this RTH. So I mean, we're already seeing higher highs and higher lows on the daily time frame, right? So I'm not saying this can go outside, because going outside is a pretty big move there. Yeah, it's about 200 points. Like, not like that can't happen, but I don't know, the probability of that happening versus us taking out these highs are kind of low, right? But if it does happen and this daily does turn red, I would expect it to go outside for sure. Kind of similar to what we saw yesterday, right, on the 12-hour, right? So we're stuck inside, took out the highs, came back red, and then ended up taking out that low right there. So that was a very good move. So right off the open. So I know it was about 123 points yesterday, which was really good. But as of right now, still expecting higher on Nasdaq here, and same with S&P. Yeah, I feel like S&P has a lot more room to run compared to Nasdaq. Right, so a little bit farther away from the target, but just taking it from this high all the way up to that high, right? It's roughly 23 points. Okay, so that's a pretty good setup right there. Again, we still have that RTH gap, but it's not as big as Nasdaq, for example. All right, so 855 and a quarter, and we're at 870 and a half. Right, it's roughly 15 points there on S&P. Okay, versus the 90 points on Nasdaq. Yeah, so we're at 494, and we have an RTH down here at 45. So 90-point gap on Nasdaq and 15-point gap on S&P. So markets can definitely turn around on open, but we still just have this draw of liquidity, and we're magnitude all the way up here. Okay, filled in this gap. So the new day's opening gap. So we opened up here, came, filled in that gap. Now we're pushing higher. We took out yesterday's high, right? So it should draw a little bit higher here, because you got that 212 up all the way up to these highs. Similar to what we're seeing on Nasdaq. 212 up, taking out this high. And that RTH gap on Wednesday. Pretty good setup on both there. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna drink my coffee. Yeah, I don't think we should be expecting downside right off the open, unless there is just like a massive sell-off and a nice reversal signal. I think this is still just going to stay twos and seeing higher. So higher highs, higher lows, just continue to push up. But if we do get some kind of reversal, like a 2 up, 2 down, then I would expect lower. But as of right now, this is good to see higher, taking out that RTH from Wednesday's trading session. Yeah. About 9:10 right now. About 20 minutes away from market open. So things can still change within this like 30-minute candle right here. All right, but still 2 up, so expecting higher. All time frames are pretty much aligning. Right. So hours green, daily's green, weekly can obviously go green, right? So this can negate, flip green. Monthly is green here. So all time frames are aligning. So we should continue to push higher. Let me look at S&P here. So with S&P, there's a little bit of conflict. So looking at S&P. Okay, so looking at S&P, there's a little bit of conflict. So the hourly's red, daily's green, weekly's red, monthly's green. Okay, so a lot of 50-50 conflict on S&P. But just looking at the week, okay, we mark out our weekly open. Here. Daily. So our current daily targets would be this high right here. Okay. This is our monthly open. So if we end up taking out our daily highs, okay, I wouldn't be surprised to see our weekly end up flipping green. Okay, but that all has to happen today. So we would need to see, yeah, about a 40-50 point move here on S&P for that to happen. Okay, so it is a little bit of a stretch, right? If we do take out this high, I wouldn't be surprised if it came up here, because if you look down at the lower time frames, right, this is all low resistance. Okay, all of that is low resistance. So the moment it triggers that daily target, don't be surprised to go take out that high, and then all the way up here. And then boom, that would flip our week into green. Okay, then you'd have basically all time frames aligning. Okay, or you'd have the day green, week green, month green, and same with the hourlies green. So only thing as of right now is the weekly being red. That's like the only conflict that we have. But then we could also say that the hourly, the day are currently in control, and same with the month. So seeing that, we would expect higher. And possibly saying that, okay, this week can negate and flip green. So that way you would have all these time frames aligning with each other. Right? Day, the week, the month, the hour, day, week, and month at the bottom there. Besides that RTH gap, right, I would still expect higher. And you can see NASDAQ just ripping higher. Now the RTH gap is over 100 points. So we drop down to the lower time frames. Okay, yeah, like we're getting up here. Okay, so that's our RTH gap fill from Wednesday's trading session, right? And we're roughly trading at 500 flat. Yeah, so that's about less than 20 points away from filling the RTH gap. Okay, so I would be expecting that to fill. These daily targets end up hitting. Okay, so this high up here on the daily, right? Because you got that 2-1-2 up, right? That's a reversal, taking out this high. Okay. But again, there is that RTH gap. So we do start seeing heavy reversals on the open. Could expect us to fill in the RTH from today. But as of right now, clean continuation to the upside. So 5 minute as well. Just clean continuations. Bunch of higher highs, higher lows, right? Nothing really stopping us from seeing lower here. Put a target on that RTH. I should say alert, but this should hit soon. Yeah, so that's really good. Don't normally like to trade this early. Like I'll trade earliest like the 8 o'clock candle, but trading around like 7 o'clock, anything earlier than that, it's a little bit too early for me. So like this move today, stay on that really. this move today. So it broke above the highs, obviously at 3 o'clock in the morning. We got a nice continuation setup at 7 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock candle too, right? So 8 o'clock broke above that high there, okay, pushed higher, right? So that would definitely be the move there. You can see the algorithm is turning on at that moment of time, okay, right? Where it's been off the whole time. Then you get that outside candle right there and that 2 up, right? So that's a 3-2 up, right? Pushing price much, much higher. Okay, so it's been off and then turns on right at that moment, taking out this high here. But it's a little bit too early for me, so it's okay if I miss that move, but definitely a good one for sure. So that's an RTH gap filled there. Okay. So now that that happened, okay, wouldn't be surprised if market turned around at this moment. Not at this moment, but at market open. But still expecting higher to take out this daily target up here. So that's our draw. So it's a 2-1-2 up, right? And you're already seeing, again, from that high to this high, it's 114 points, okay, on NASDAQ. So very, very good move overnight. I should say this morning. So we took out yesterday's high at 3 o'clock in the morning. It got the continuation roughly at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're kind of tickled these highs. So very good setup. See, it's ripping now, filling the RTH, coming to fill in that daily target there. Full time frame alignment, so you have hourly upside, daily upside, weekly upside, monthly upside, right? Versus S&P, where it's just the week conflicting us. So week is red, but month is green, daily is green, and same with hourly, it's green, right? So the only thing that is conflicting us would be the week. That's okay, because we still have control on the hourly, daily, and monthly there. Very, very good upside here on NASDAQ. Again, unless it's like a strong reversal off open, I have to favor upside, like regardless of that RTH gap. Because again, that could just be left open for next week. And then we will eventually fill that. Excuse me. We'll eventually fill that next week sometime, probably Monday or Tuesday. Right. So similar to what we saw this week with Wednesday's RTH gap, right? The one that we just filled, right? Wednesday didn't do anything to the RTH, right? So we didn't fill any part of that RTH gap, just kind of came up a little bit on open and just dropped, right? Leaving it open for what? Today. Right, so 2 days after we came and filled it. So that's what can happen with this current one right here. So right now we're at 20,500. Right, so we're going to open all the way up here. So there's going to be this big RTH gap left open. Big gap. Over 100 points. So depending on if this wants to open, just take out the high and then drop. Very much so. Or it opens, it drops right away. And obviously you can just get that run scenario where it opens and just leaves it open all day. Just stays trading up here. And then Tuesday or Monday, come of next week, right, could look to start working our way back into it. Couple of different scenarios, you just kind of have to play by ear when the market opens at 9:30. Especially looking at S&P as well. Right, S&P still has a lot more room to run. So if this does start running, okay, and comes to take out this high, right, you can expect NASDAQ to really rip higher. was really hoping this 12-hour would get stuck inside instead of giving us higher highs and higher lows. So came, gave us a 2 up, right? I was hoping it would get stuck inside, kind of similar to what we saw yesterday, where we had this big massive range candle. Got stuck inside. Right here. This didn't get stuck inside, that's okay. Two, 1, 3 up, right? And taking out the high of that too. And the next target would be that level here, because you have that 2, 1, 2 on the daily. So again, Michigan consumer sentiment, I believe it's consumer sentiment. Yeah, so University of Michigan sentiment at 10 o'clock today, right? Expected is 69.1, previous was 68.9. Okay, so higher than expected is good, lower than expected is bad. But like yesterday, for example, all of our economics came out better than expected. So we had jobless claims, we had S&P manufacturing, and then we had the ISM. I don't know if it was non-manufacturing or just ISM manufacturing. But we had one of those at 10. And all of them came out better than expected. But market just sold off. Right. So regardless of news, we still had a nice downside day. Right. So at 8:30, taking out London highs. Yeah, that's a 15. So we dropped down to the 5. New York took out London highs, right? 3-1-2 down. Okay, and you got the 2-1-2 continuation lower right at open, taking out all the way London lows, chopped up a bit, came, took out that low, which is Asia's. Okay. So very aggressive sell-off day, even after coming out with very good news. So could be the same case today at open just because we have the RTH cap. Right. So 10 o'clock comes out higher than expected, but we still sell off. That could very much be the case. But I've been realizing that usually when NASDAQ runs like this, there's a move that happens pretty early. So like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's just like, just waking up around those times. So I don't want to hop on charts right away. Or to kind of just wake myself up a bit and then hop on charts. And those moves happen not so often. So that's why I don't really wake up at those times. Happens very rarely, I would say. So it's not worth waking up every single day and looking for those moves because a lot of the times they don't happen. And if you get in a position roughly at those times, right, you kind of get like your manipulation moves at 8:30 and 9:30, right? Most likely stopping you out. But if it works in your favor, it's definitely running at those times. Like for example, today 8:30 just continued running. Right, so if you got in roughly around 7:30, right, this little drop right here, okay, you'd have 8:30 running and possibly even 9:30 just continuing running. So it already looks like we're starting to turn around here as we're getting closer to market open. Okay, so it looks like we may want to take out this low here. 2 up, 2 down. I'm taking out the low of this. So it's a 3-2-2 reversal. Okay, take out the low of that. 5. 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. Could get a 2 up, 2 down here on the 30, right at market open, to come and take out this magnitude right here. Possibly fill in that RTH. But if market opens and we just beam, so put another 2 up here on the 30, right? Could obviously take out that daily magnitude up here. Should be an interesting day. So I wasn't able to do charting last night, so glad I was able to do that with you guys this morning. You can kind of see how I chart and how I come to my analysis. But for anyone that joined late, this will be up on YouTube, so you can always watch it back there. So we just covered the dollar, S&P, and NASDAQ this morning. It's a quick 30-40 minute live stream. Not too bad. I prefer to do these like pre-market overviews, and then hopefully with time, start actually live streaming the session, doing call outs and stuff, but not really a fan of all that. Just kind of like doing my analysis and then trading by myself, but it's been good. Like even with these pre-market overviews, I know last week we we're kind of able to stay away from the chop, but I was expecting a bigger move. So like at market open, we had a nice sell-off, which I managed to get. I think it was about like 30 points off that move until getting closed out at break even, right? And we took another trade after that, just got closed out at break even, so no profit on that one. So it's a very break even day, like, or just a very small winner if you want to call it. But we were able to kind of gauge that out right at market, pre-market sessions, right, over the live stream. And I know the Friday before that, we were able to call out a banger with PPI. So we called out that the markets are going to sell off first and then push a lot higher. So we were able to call that out pretty well. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys even took those trades, and it was very good that day. But I want to hopefully start doing this like every day, just like the pre-market sessions where I just kind of hop on 30 minutes to an hour before market open and just give you kind of like my pre-market analysis with like the RTH gaps, certain daily levels, weekly levels, right, intraday levels, and go from there. See, looks like we want to take out that 3 of the low of the 3, I should say. All right. Could possibly put in a 3 here on the 15, but this should close and then take out that low here. That's market open. All right, you got the RTH gap there. All right, big RTH. Okay, that's going to be it for me today. Head off and go start trading. Okay, so I wish you guys all the best of luck today, and I will possibly see you guys next week. Peace out.